What is the source of my enlightenment? It's a question that's been asked in many forms over the centuries. What is it that helps us truly see, not just look, but see things as they are, beneath the surface appearance? Whether it's the nature of the people around us, the significance of what we own, or the stories we tell ourselves about current events, there is often a deeper truth waiting to be found. Now, outside religious tradition, some might talk about higher truth in terms of insight, self-awareness, intellectual clarity, moral vision. And perhaps you've experienced something like it. Feeling lost or stuck until a shift in perspective lets you breathe again. That changes in how we see the world, how we think and feel. It can be liberating. I recall working with a client who was struggling with depression, trapped in a cycle of negative thoughts and excuses, even self-deception. But over time, he learned to test those thoughts, to question them, and what emerged were more grounded, rational ideas based on evidence. He began to accept responsibility for daily decisions, stay in or get out of bed in the morning, shave or not bother, take risks with taking too many tablets, or keep to the correct dosage. And in that, there was a glimmer of a higher truth. The truth that he saw is that he had agency, that his life had some freedom. One of his guiding values, as we spoke, was the importance of faithful relationships. Another was a belief in the soul's immortality. Now, these weren't abstract ideas for him. They actually shaped his understanding of life and death, and they helped him to live with intention. Emanuel Swedenborg, the spiritual philosopher, called some religious ideas appearances of truth. Truths seen through the lens of our limited individual understanding. For example, the idea that suffering is always punishment. A tempting thought, perhaps, when life feels unfair, but it obscures, according to Swedenborg, a deeper truth. The truth that misfortune can strike the innocent, as the book of Job in the Bible reminds us. And in responding to suffering, we are faced with a choice. We can be indifferent or compassionate. We can be bitter or grow wise. So some ideas we pick up are useful stepping stones. We cling to them for a time, then we outgrow them or see further. Many spiritual traditions suggest that higher truth comes from beyond oneself. The Hebrew scriptures speak of divine wisdom far above ordinary thought. Swedenborg believed that enlightenment comes not just from knowledge. He said it comes from a harmony between what we know that is said to be true and what we love that is good. In other words, truth alone does not enlighten, not unless it is joined by what is good, not unless we live it, not just learn it. Swedenborg wrote about the source of enlightenment. He called it, in his way, which he had from a mystical vision he experienced, he called it a spiritual sun. When he saw, as I say, when in an altered state of consciousness, it was a sun that was non-physical, but it was radiant, its light representing wisdom, its warmth, love. It's a striking image. The idea that truth, real truth, shines not with cold certainty, but with the heat of compassion. That wisdom isn't just in the head, but in the heart. To be enlightened, then, is not just to know, but to warmly care. Now, I'd like to offer this idea. Think of a judge in court. There is the letter of the law, for example, legal statute, previous court decisions. This is what the judge knows to be true. But an enlightened judge has a deeper sense of justice, of fairness. This is what is good. It leads him to consider the spirit of the law and what is fair and just. Now you might also like to consider the enlightened parent who guides a child. The parental rules may seem restrictive, but they are at heart expressions of care, and so they are administered wisely. The words are the form, the love the substance. You might want to think of the golden rule that exists in some form or other in all spiritual traditions. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. That's the Christian way of talking about it. What is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow man. That comes from Judaism. And what about Islam? They say, no one is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself. And the Hindus? They say, do not do to others what would cause you pain if done to you. And it goes on. The Buddhists, hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. And Taoism? Regard your neighbour's gain as your own gain, and your neighbour's loss as your own loss. These are all ways of putting the golden rule. Those who grasp this rule, not just in thought, but in spirit, act fairly, even when no one is watching. And in this way, whatever faith they follow, their understanding of the higher truth of this rule can be enlightened. Thank you for listening to me. If you want to learn how to apply this golden principle in the way you deal with difficult people in your life, you may be interested in clicking the link above.